Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kaz and I'm a channeler and a healer. In today's video we're asking for a mystery message from the universe. So this can be about anything at all. So I have 3 crystals to choose from today. Crystal 1, Crystal 2, or Crystal 3. You can go directly to your reading. The timestamps will be in the description box and in the video chapters below. I'll see you there. Crystal 1, welcome to your reading. I'm just going to pick up the crystal so I can channel the messages through it. Okay, this is about forgiveness. You're either giving forgiveness or you're receiving forgiveness from someone else. So this may be something that's been boiling away for a long time or simmering away for a long time in your own body or in your own subconscious. So this may be something that has been sitting there since childhood. It may be something that you weren't really that aware of. And you may be forgiving someone energetically rather than in person. For some of you it might actually be in person that you're saying to someone that you forgive them. There also might be someone approaching you to say that you forgive them. Maybe some of these people have passed away and so it will be more energetic, the forgiveness. I feel for a lot of you, it won't be the same in every case. It's you forgiving someone and freeing yourself up from this energy. This energy has been held within you for so long that you're barely aware of it being there. It's like sometimes you brush past this emotion or this blockage of energy and you almost touch it but not quite. You might get adjacent to it. So I'm seeing it like a round ball of black energy. And it's sitting in your body somewhere. For some of you, I'm seeing epigastric area, lower down near your umbilicus, and for some of you in your sacral chakra. So I feel like some of you probably realise the person that you need to forgive. It'll probably be the first person that springs to mind. For a few of you, there might be a couple of people that you need to forgive. I'm getting quite a male energy around this, so it might not be a man per se. It might have been a female with very masculine tendencies. But whoever it was, I feel like the time has come to allow this emotion up and to allow this freedom from this pain for yourself. Because it's buried so deep, what you're not realising is this has had a huge impact on you and your life. And for some of you, we're getting like over the past 30, 40, 50 years. It's really had a huge impact on you. And because you're so used to that pain, you're not able to reconcile yourself without it. So it's just kind of sat there. You haven't gone digging for anything because you've sat with it for so long, it seems normal. And you might find that you have some physical symptoms that once you do this forgiveness, it will resolve. So things that perhaps you've been carrying around for years and years as physical symptoms. Maybe I'm actually feeling my lower back right at the base of my spine where my root chakra is. I'm feeling that. And further up at my back where the sacral chakra would sit as well. So lower spine, I'm feeling a lot of this. It doesn't have to be there for you, but that's where I'm feeling it. You might be able to hear my cat crunching in the background. Apologies, she's having some biscuits. It's very, very stuck. And honestly, I think you need to give yourself some grace and allow it to come up. So the recommendation from your spirit team is to give yourself some grace. Find yourself a safe space where you feel comfortable. Maybe make a little altar with some fresh flowers, some crystals. You might want to do this in the bath, and just give permission for the pain to come out. This isn't going to be an easy process. I'm going to warn you now. I'm getting that it's going to be quite a difficult, traumatic process. And it may be something that happened that you thought you could never forgive someone for. Or it could be a number of things that same person treated you badly, let's say, and you're having to go through the process of forgiveness for each of those situations. It may be a number of people, maybe it's not just one person. Whatever it happens to be, the forgiveness is for your benefit, not so much theirs. And it doesn't mean that you condone that type of behaviour. It means you're giving yourself the medicine of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a medicine. It's taken to treat all ills, is what I'm hearing. So because it is very unconscious or subconscious, you will have to ask your team to help you with this, and ask them to help you bring it up for processing, because it needs to be processed. This might be a little bit of a lengthy process, so I feel like you may have to get yourself into a space where, like I said earlier, you feel safe, but also that you're not going to be disturbed. And it may be that if you lead a very busy life, you might have to give yourself half an hour a day where you're going to process some of this pain and just let it go over time. Otherwise it could be really quite traumatic. Now, some of you might decide that this is beyond your capabilities and you want to find someone to help you with this. So you could find a psychologist, a therapist, an energy healer, acupuncturist, anyone that can help you just move this pain out. I'm just sitting with this because I can feel it's quite heavy. And honestly, if this is something that occurred to you as a child, sometimes we see things differently as an adult. So what you think as a child was very traumatic, as an adult you'll think, oh yeah, no, that was fine. What am I upset about that for? And I'm being drawn to, when I was about 3 or 4, I had a red ball that I loved, and we were visiting a lake, and it was on the shore, and the lake took it away, and I was very traumatised. So as an adult, that seems like nothing, but for a child, that's very dramatic. So it doesn't have to be this big monumentous thing that you've completely blanked on and something hideously horrible happened to you. It could be something that was traumatic for you at the time in the energy you were in. But forgiveness is needed for it. I'm feeling some of you know exactly what this is and you're very angry, and I'm feeling your liver, because the liver is the organ of anger. It's where we process all of our emotions, as well as all the food and chemicals that go into our body. And sitting under the anger will be something else. It might be shame, it might be unworthiness, it might be anything at all. And that's the energy that needs to be cleared with the forgiveness. You can use the Ho'oponopono prayer. I always say that wrong, so apologies. The Hawaiian prayer, you can look that up. There are a number of things. You can journal, you can do some automatic writing, anything to get it out of your body. You can stamp your feet, you can dance it out. You can lay on the ground and bang your fists and feet on the ground. You can punch a punching bag. anything that gets the emotion out once you identify it, because it's sitting quite heavily within you. I feel very bogged down by this energy. This might be quite a trying time, because I feel that if you don't address this and take steps to address this yourself, the universe is going to bring it up for you because it needs to be cleared. So something might nudge you into the space where you have to deal with it. Maybe you get presented with someone who's gone through exactly the same thing, and they're mirroring it back to you because the universe is saying, hey, you need to deal with this. But maybe that person hasn't dealt with theirs and they're displaying it in an over-the-top way to get your attention. This might be that you become unwell and bedridden, not in a dramatic way, but in a way with maybe like a cold or something like that, so that you've got time to process this, because it's going to come out regardless. And you need to be in a space where you feel safe enough to process it. If you start taking steps now, it's not going to get to that tower moment. It will just be, okay, I dedicate half an hour or an hour a day to help myself clear this. And I haven't got a time frame for how long this is going to take. So it might take 3 days. It might take 3 hours. It might take 3 weeks. It might take 3 months. I just don't know. Everyone is different. And it really just depends on how dedicated you are. And look, you might not be able to do it every day. You might have 2 days in a row and think, oh, that's so intense, I just can't deal with it. I'm going to park it for a few days or a week and then come back to it. All the universe wants from you in this situation is to start working on the process and to start relieving yourself of that burden of trauma, no matter what form it took for you. Some of you are very sensitive, and there may have been things that didn't directly happen to you, but they happened to someone close to you, and you took on some of that burden and took against, I'm going to use the word perpetrator here, but it could be anyone really, and it doesn't have to be that strong, but you took that energy for them because you saw how hard it was, and then you're carrying some of that burden, so it's not even your burden. But still, forgiveness is needed. Forgiveness for the person who maybe hurt the other person in some way. And then forgiveness for yourself and forgiveness for the other person involved. So however many people are involved, you need forgiveness for all of them, including yourself. And for some of them, you need to forgive the universe too. Because sometimes when we're faced with something that's traumatic, we also get angry at the universe at large, whoever you believe in, because they didn't prevent this from happening to you or to someone else. For some of you, I'm feeling like you might work in situations like the medical field or emergency services or a rescue team. And this relates to even teachers, and this relates to your job as well. So there might have been situations where if something traumatic happened to somebody while you were working, or that you came across something traumatic, and that needs to be processed out as well. For a lot of you, this will be one specific thing, but it can be more than one thing. Maybe things are related, so you might deal with one thing and think that's it, and then something else pops up. What your guardian angels are wanting you to do is to observe the universe at large, see what's being mirrored back to you, what things other people around you are mirroring back to you, and then start working on that type of thing. So let's just say that you're cheated on in a relationship. you might have people talking about that, or it might be stories like that might be popping up when you turn on the TV, or things like that, that's being mirrored back to you, because you need to go just back to that time and just deal with some of that pain. Now, when we're going through things like that, it is very painful, and we do tend to suppress it because it's hideous being in that energy, and we try to escape it. So even if you think you've dealt with everything, sometimes there's some of that left. Okay, group 1, I'm sorry that was such a heavy message. I had no idea about what was going to come through, but obviously that needed to come through. I wish you well on your journey, and I wish you well with forgiveness, and I will see you in my next reading. Group 2, welcome to your reading. The last reading was quite heavy, so we'll see how we go with this one here. I'm just going to channel through the crystal here. And see what the mystery message is for you. I'm getting the sense of a lake, and I'm getting shown the top of a lake, where we're looking at it from above the surface of the lake. And what we're seeing is a beautiful vista that has lush trees and bushes around it, and it's a very expansive lake, and there's little ripples on the lake. The sun's shining, the sky is blue, it's very picturesque. Now they're taking me under the water level and looking at the lake, and it's murky and it's dark, and there's shapes under the water that are a little bit scary. So we're talking about your emotions here, and we're talking about the things that are lurking in your subconscious that need processing. But this can be very scary for you. It's scary for most of us. I get really anxious before I'm about to clear something, but I feel amazing afterwards. So this is something I've been through, and a lot of people have been through too. And coming out on the other side, you raise right above the lake again, and you look at the beautiful vista, and that's the gift in it. So this metaphor is basically saying that there's things that need to be processed from your past. If you were drawn to group 1 as well, you might want to listen to that, but energy is slightly different, because I feel that you have a really good idea of what this is, whereas group 1 might not have any idea about what this is, because there are some shapes that you can see. Now, you may find that you're in a point in life where life is either very stagnant and not flowing, or there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff coming up that you thought you'd never have to deal with. And this is because there's unresolved emotions. So the suggestion here is that you get someone to help you with this. You may have already seen a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You may have already been to healing sessions. I'm getting sweat lodges and things like that. But there's something murky there that needs to be cleared. And I don't feel that you are going to be able to get to it by yourself. You're going to need assistance with this. As a healer myself, I work with energy. I can see things in my clients that they can't see themselves, and it's because I've got an objective view of it. And when you're in yourself, you can't be objective no matter how hard you try. So I feel like there needs to be an objective view, and this doesn't need to be a prolonged process. This just might be like a 6-week series of once a week going and processing some emotions with some assistance. You might want to go on a retreat that specialises in this kind of thing to kind of get it out, if you like. You may have worked on this before. I get that sense that perhaps you have, or at least you have thought, I need to work on this, because it may even be impacting your behaviour. Maybe you're getting angry at people around you for no good reason. There is a good reason. It's this unexpressed emotion that is triggering you, but you may be taking it out on your nearest or dearest, or even on complete strangers, because your trigger point is very snappy at the moment. I don't know if that's the correct word that I want to use, but you are triggered easily. And it's just because there's some things that need to be cleared. You may even work in the health industry in some way, or you may be a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a healer or a therapist, whatever it happens to be, and you may need some help yourself. And sometimes when we're in that situation, it is really hard to ask for help because we're used to being the helpers. So it will do you the world of good is what I'm getting. Like, you'll come up from below that surface once you've done some processing and look around and see this amazing view. I feel like when you come up out of that and you've allowed these things to process, colour is going to be more vibrant. Smell of things is going to be better. Food will taste better. Your interaction with other people will be amazing. It's just almost like the final climb to the summit for some of you, because you may have been through this before. And there's just a little bit of lingering energy that needs to be shifted. Okay, pile 2, that's all I have for you today. Again, another intense reading. I hope that helps you in some way, and I will see you in my next video. Crystal 3, welcome to your reading. I'm just going to preface this by saying the last 2 readings are quite intense, so we'll see what we've got for you here. Okay, I'm getting a headache as soon as I picked up this crystal. A headache, lots of congestion in your head. So you may have a lot of thoughts swirling around, you may have a lot of vivid dreams going on. You're going through a processing period, okay? You are processing thoughts and thought processes. They are being highlighted here, and you're being asked to question yourself on why you think certain things. You may find yourself being very overwhelmed lately, and it feels like you've got a million things to do, but it's actually not that bad, but it's your thought loops that are making it seem bigger than what it is. I'm sensing that this has been a bit of a pattern throughout your life. It's like you go along quite happily, and then something comes in from left field, or some sort of life change happens. And it could be that you instigate it yourself, but it becomes overwhelming for you. And I feel like that stems back to your childhood. There was something there where you didn't feel you were in control of something. And so things feel overwhelming when you lose control of things happening around you. And it may not be a bad thing. Let's just say that you're moving house because you're going to a better house. But there's that whole thing of, oh my goodness, I've got to pack everything, I've got to declutter the house, I've got to clean the house, I've got to move to the next house, I've got to unpack everything, and so on and so forth. And how am I going to do this, and where am I going to get boxes from? And all of these things start cluttering up your mind. And what the universe wants to say to you here is, get it out of your head somehow. Talk to someone about it and ask for their advice on how they would go about it, or write every single thing, every tiny, minute little step down and organise it into priorities, or get people in to help you, outsource it. So let's just say the thought of packing everything up overwhelms you. Hire someone to do that for you. Let's say cleaning the house after you've left it overwhelms you. Hire someone to do that for you. Let's say the garden needs weeding. Hire someone to do that for you. This is just an example, but it can be put into any problem that you have. I mean, there are solutions, is what the universe is trying to say. But because of the way your mind works, because maybe of conditioning you had, maybe you had a parent who was very, very anxious. Maybe you felt that you had to have everything in your environment in a certain place for you to feel comfortable, and suddenly it's not like that. Because the way that your thought processes work, you need to assist that. You need to recognise that there is a bit of a problem here and to help yourself with it. Now, like I said, you can outsource. If it's something like thought loops that you can't get out of, about anything in particular, you can find someone to help you with that. It could be a therapist, it could be someone who does EFT tapping, it could be someone who declutters homes professionally, it could be anything, it could be a gardener, it could be anything. So I'm just using an example of a house, but this could be work related. Maybe you need to tell your boss that you need an assistant, whatever it happens to be, because just this overwhelm is giving you such a headache, and I feel like your eyes are really tired, your sinuses are clogged, your neck's sore, the top of your back is sore between your shoulder blades, your throat chakra's blocked, everything's blocked up in your upper chakras from your heart above. I'm getting the sense that maybe your blood pressure is elevated, so that might need to be looked at. If that's the case, you might have to go and see a doctor about that. If you haven't taken your blood pressure in a long time, you might want to check it, even if you're being medicated, just to make sure everything's okay, because I feel like there's a lot of pressure in your head, a lot. And it stems from your thoughts. This is all on the mental plane. This isn't about emotions as such, it's a thought process. You might have a thought process, and it might only be one. Maybe the rest of your life is hunky-dory, but there's this one thing that keeps you in place when you should be soaring high. Or there's this one thing that stops the flow in your life when everything should be flowing well. And it just needs to be eliminated. Now, I know that's easy for me to stand here and say because it is a tricky thing to do. But I feel that there's an answer for you out there. There really is. You might even have to just do your own research. And you might go down a bit of a rabbit hole of researching things, but you will find the very one thing that helps you. And then you might use that to help other people in the future. Now, of course, if you're feeling very, very vulnerable, you will probably need to seek help and professional help with that, and help yourself that way. And your spirit guides are basically saying you're going to get over this bump in the road. It's not insurmountable, and it's not even a huge life issue at this point. It's more about how you think about the issue and how you've wired your brain to work when it gets a little bit stressed, or when things are out of the ordinary for you. You like to stay in your lane, and when you get out of your lane, it does become stressful for you. But what your spirit guides are saying is what it's doing is building resilience for you as well, because you'll be able to find your way out of this maze. And you've probably done something like this before, but you've forgotten how, because you've been in the one lane for so long. Okay, group 3. I hope that found you well, and I hope that you are able to overcome this. And I wish you well on your journey, and I'll see you in my next reading.